In the context of the passage, which one of the following can be inferred with regard to the use of currency during the Tang era? Option 1 states, currency that deteriorated easily was not used for official work. This is incorrect. We can see that from the fourth paragraph. The first line of the fourth paragraph says the government also required the use of textiles for large transactions. If government used it, then it was used for official work. And then again, it is stated in the last statement, grain, because it rotted easily, was not used nearly as much as coins and textiles, but taxpayers were required to pay grain to the government as a share of their annual tax obligations, and official salaries were expressed in weights of grain. So again, grain was also used for official work, as in government work. It is stated that the most durable are coins, grain, and textiles. They deteriorate easily. So we can see that one is not true according to the passage. So one can be eliminated. Option 2 states, grains were the most used currency because of government requirements. This is almost directly incorrect. We can see it here in the fourth paragraph. In fact, we have just seen the reference. Grain, because it rotted easily, was not used nearly as much as coins and textiles. Clearly against the passage, 2 can be eliminated. Option 3 states, currency usage was similar to that of modern times. Again, nearly a direct reference. We can see it here from the fifth paragraph. In actuality, our own currency system today has some similarities, even as it is changing in front of our eyes. So we can qualify 3 as a valid answer. It can be inferred from the passage in the given context. Option 4 says, copper coins were more valuable and durable than textiles. Durable, agreed. We can see that from the first paragraph here. But valuable, there isn't a direct reference to that. If we at all take this as the reference, where we have coins and value of coins mentioned, we'll see that then at best this option is a distortion. This line at the end of the third paragraph says, the values of different textiles were also more stable than the fluctuating values of coins. So copper coins were more valuable. That cannot be said. Quite the opposite. So we can eliminate option 4. Our answer is option 3. During the Tang period, which one of the following would not be an economically sound decision for a small purchase in the local market that is worth 1/8 of a bolt of cloth? There are a few keywords that we need to pick up. First, which of the following would not be an economically sound decision, bad decision, for a small purchase in the local market that is worth 1/8 of a bolt of cloth? So checking with the options, one says cutting 1/8 of the fabric from a new bolt to pay the amount. This is going to be seriously stupid, because we can see here in the second paragraph that this reduces the value of the textile. Furthermore, a full bolt had a particular value. If consumers cut textiles into smaller pieces to buy or sell something worth less than a full bolt, that too greatly lessens the value of the textiles. So cutting up a new bolt of textile to pay for something which is worth 1/8 of a bolt would not make sense at all. It would reduce the value of the bolt of cloth. So 1 is a valid choice. Option 2 states, using coins issued by the government to make the payment. Absolutely, why not? We can see here in the fourth paragraph, coins, on the other hand, were better suited for smaller transactions and possibly, given the costs of transporting coins, for a more local usage. And we have exactly that, small purchase in the local market. So it's absolutely fitting that we use coins. So this makes sense. It's not what we would call a bad decision or an unsound decision, economically speaking. So 2 can be eliminated. Option 3 states making the payment with the appropriate weight of grain. Again, in the local market, it's a small purchase, so grain would not be a problem. We don't have anything where grain is said to be ill-fitting. A small purchase in the local market, we can see here. Grain, because it rotted easily, was not used nearly as much as coin and textile, but taxpayers were required to. So one could always use grain. There's nothing to suggest that it would be an economically unsound decision. So 3 can be eliminated. Option 4 says paying with a faded bolt of cloth that has approximately the same value. We see here, furthermore, a full bolt had a particular value. The mention of a full bolt here is generalized. It doesn't say whether it's a new bolt or an old one. So paying with a faded bolt of cloth that has approximately the same value. As long as it's a complete bolt of cloth, we don't cut it into pieces, and as long as it has approximately the same value, the value of 1/8 of a bolt of cloth, then it makes no difference whatsoever. So this also would not be called an economically unsound decision. So we can eliminate option 4. Our answer is clearly option 1. When discussing textiles as currency in the Tang period, the author uses the words steady and stable to indicate all of the following except. Now we have steady and stable used in the third paragraph. We can find stable here and steady here. But then we don't need to limit ourselves to exactly these statements or these words. The references to textiles, the use of textiles is inherent in this entire paragraph. Let's read the paragraph quickly. But textiles had some advantages over coins. For a start, textile production was widespread and there were fewer problems with the supply of textiles. For large transactions, textiles weighed less than their equivalent in coins, since a string of coins could weigh as much as 4 kilograms. Furthermore, the dimensions of a bolt of silk held remarkably steady from the 3rd to the 10th century, 56 centimeters wide and 12 meters long. The values of different textiles were also more stable than the fluctuating values of coins. So now let's check with the options. It usually is complex options and inferential close options when we have options this small, this this short actually. So a few inferential steps, but we'll get there. One says reliable measurement. Reliable measurement is almost a direct reference. We see here the dimensions of a bolt of silk held remarkably steady between centuries even. So this is something that is indicated by these words, stable or steady. So we can eliminate option 1. Option 2 states reliable quality. Quality can be seen from the second paragraph. In fact, we can see it here. If in circulation for a long period of time, they could show signs of wear and tear, stained, faded, and torn bolts of textiles had less value than a brand new bolt. So we do see the aspect of quality. We can also see value here. The last statement of the third paragraph, the values of different textiles were also more stable than the fluctuating values of coins. So this is also something which is indicated by these words. 2 can be eliminated. Option 3 states reliable supply. This again is almost a direct reference. We can see here there were fewer problems with the supply of textiles. So steady and stable because there was more reliable supply of textiles. So 3 can be eliminated. Option 4 states reliable transportation. But this is something we cannot connect with textiles. We have one reference to transporting here, but that speaks exclusively of coins. Coins, on the other hand, were better suited for smaller transactions and possibly, given the costs of transporting coins, for a more local usage. We can also see that we come close to this kind of an inference in this line. For large transactions, textiles weighed less than their equivalent in coins, since a string of coins could weigh as much as 4 kilograms. But if we see that textiles weighed less than their equivalent in coins, for equal value, the weight of coins was much more than that of textile. In this, there is no direct reference of transportation. Would it help in transportation? Yes, but does this necessarily speak about transportation? Not necessarily. Does that necessarily guarantee reliable transportation? It doesn't. So, reliable transportation is something that we cannot connect with these words and the aspect of textiles used as currency in the Tang period. So, we find that 4 is a valid answer. Our answer is option 4. According to the passage, the modern currency system shares all the following features with that of the Tang, except that. Now, this is exclusive to the fifth paragraph because the fifth paragraph talks about our own currency system today. So, the modern currency system falls under this head. Let's check with the options and tally with the fifth paragraph. Option 1 states its currencies fluctuate in value over time. This is a bit inferential, but we can see here that we have cash, coins for small transactions like paying for parking at a meter, and banknotes for other items. Checks and debit or credit cards for other, often larger types of payments. At the same time, we are shifting to electronic banking and making payments online. Some young people never use cash and do not know how to write a check. So, at least in the matter of cash, we see that its value has reduced since before because we are increasingly shifting towards electronic banking and online payments. So, banknotes, their value has lessened. Their value has at least been seen to fluctuate over time. So, one is something that the modern currency system has in common with the system of currency in the Tang era. So, one can be eliminated. Option 2 states it uses different materials as currency. In the Tang era, we had coins made of metal, copper, as we can see here, and we had grain and we had textile, and we saw grain over here. So different materials, yes. Similarly, in the modern day, we have, now this is a bit inferential, but it's common sense. We have cash and banknotes, which are uh, paper or fabric. Yes, most banknotes are actually printed on, barring Indian banknotes, many banknotes are actually printed on fabric. They are not printed on paper. But that's different material. Coins, metals, different material. And then checks, which is again paper, and debit or credit cards, which are plastic. So there are different materials used. This is also true. Common between the old and the new system, two can be eliminated. Option 3 states it is undergoing transformation. This is a valid answer because we see the aspect of transformation in our own currency system here. Two references. Our own currency system today has some similarities, even as it is changing in front of our eyes. What is it changing to, and how is it changing? At the same time, we are shifting to electronic banking and making payments online. But the same aspect of transformation has not been given in the context of currency in the Tang era. In with respect to the currency in the Tang era, we have these systems mostly remaining stable, remaining common. One reference to that in particular is this here, where we see in the matter of textile, it is mentioned. Furthermore, the dimensions of a bolt of silk held remarkably steady from the 3rd to the 10th century, 56 centimeters wide and 12 meters long. So this is an aspect which is not common between the two systems. That makes 3 a valid answer. Option 4 states it uses different currencies for different situations. Direct reference, we have the mention of coins, say, which were used for smaller transactions, possibly given the costs of transporting coins, grains, which were used for government transactions because it was obligation and most peasants and all could not pay by coin. So they rather paid by cloth or grain. And then textiles for larger uh, larger purchases because it would be convenient to transport textile. So different currencies, the same can be seen here. We have cash, coins for small transactions like paying for parking at a meter, banknotes for other items, check and debit credit cards for other, often larger types of payments. So again, almost a direct reference. We can eliminate option 4. The answer is option 3.